Now listen to this story that we will tell to you.
The story of the Minnow. 5 passengers and crew.
With Gilligan aboard the ship, the skipper by his side.
An unexpected storm came up and tossed them with the tide.
They found themselves a shipwrecked clan, lost on Gilligan's Isle.
Gilligan and Skipper, the millionaire, his wife.
The movie star professor and Mary Ann began a brand new life.
What creatures they encountered. What riddles did they face?
What mysteries did haunt them in a strange but happy place?
On the new adventures of Gilligan,
All on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, I just love muscular men, Skipper. After that log, there's just another small one or two.
That's good, Ginger. I feel like I've moved the whole petrified forest.
You know, I wouldn't ask you to do it, Skipper, if those logs weren't a fire hazard so close to the huts.
Yes, Ginger, sure.
Hi, Ginger. What are you doing? I'm watching the skipper lug those old logs away. You mean the ones you said were an eyesore?
Just a few more, Ginger, and the fire hazard will be gone.
Ginger, you lied to the skipper. You told him those logs were a fire hazard to get him to move them. Well, he might not have moved them if I just said they were an eyesore. That's terrible. Lying to get somebody to do something for you?
I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to take the radio out of your buggy, Mr. Howell.
My dear Professor, we Howells drive only the best cars with all the latest equipment. No, that radio stays.
Oh, really, Thurston? We don't need a radio.
We've always had a car radio, my dear. Remember on our first date, riding along on a moonlit night?
Yes.
And there you are, very much in love with me, of course, looking at me with stars in your eyes as we roll along the highway. And what are you listening to?
Why, I'm listening to you, Thurston. Oh, please do finish the story. I want to see how it ends.
Oh, bah!
I'm sorry, Mr. Howell, but I must insist that the radio stays in the compound. It's our only contact with the outside world.
And here's a message of interest to ships at sea. Be on the lookout for a large motorized whaleboat which fell off an ocean liner and is floating somewhere in the sea lanes. Now for more news.
A large motorized whaleboat. Wouldn't it be something if it washed up here on the island?
Hi, everybody. Snubby and I.
Gosh, if the whaleboat did wash up here, we could get off the island.
Listen, everybody.
Yeah, we could pack it with lots of island food, start the motor.
And be off into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun.
That's the Air Force, Mr. Howell.
Who cares how we get off this island, so long as we get off.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I could navigate us right back to the dock where we started out.
Announcement, everybody. We haven't.
But who will be here to wish us bon voyage?
Friends, islanders, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Oh, but why kid ourselves? The whaleboat won't wash up here. Gilligan, will you two cut that out? Say what you have to say and get it over with.
Snubby and I found a whaleboat washed up on the beach.
Who cares? Can't you see? A whaleboat?
That's right,
Well, why didn't you say so? Come on, everybody.
Gosh, I'm glad we weren't trying to tell them the island sank.
And finally, from the world of finance, scientists predict a possible shortage of the metal lead, which might make that ordinary metal more precious than gold.
Lead? More precious than gold?
It's here. The whaleboat is here.
Oh my, how exciting. A whaleboat has washed ashore, Gilligan.
I told you that, Mrs. Howell.
Oh, I thought I heard it before.
Don't bother analyzing it, Professor. It's a whaleboat, all right, complete with keel and oars and oarlocks.
And an extra aperture or two.
That's okay. as long as it doesn't have a hole in it.
That's what I meant, Gilligan. It has a number of holes in it.
Gosh, there goes the big dream. Just another useless old boat.
We could plant flowers in it. It'll look nice in the center of the compound there.
It wouldn't even hold flowers with those holes.
Well, one thing's for sure. If we tried to sail it, it'd sink like lead.
Lead? Did I hear someone say lead?
Gosh, Snubby, you're covered with sap. Come on, let's wash it off. We're gonna have to pick the sap off bit by bit. Water doesn't do anything.
Sticky, waterproof, tree sap.
Professor, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
We can patch the boat with wooden planks and cover it with the tree sap. It'll be as good as new. What are we waiting for? Let's go.
Now, we have to do this right. We'll have to find the right type of wood, strong, resistant to moisture. Then we'll have to shape the planks.
It'll be a lot of work, but we can do it.
Since we'll have to work on the boat here, I suggest we set up some sort of shelter to protect us from the sun.
Here's a canvas in the whaleboat.
We'll mount it on poles and weight the corners so the wind won't blow it away.
I'll find some poles.
I'll get that rock over there to weight a corner. Gosh, I move it. It's like solid lead.
It isn't like solid lead, Gilligan. It is solid lead.
Solid lead? More valuable than gold.
All right, the first thing we'll need to do is to find the right wood for planking. Then we'll tap the tree sap for waterproofing.
Yes, I know the first thing I must do. If that rock is lead, then this island must be rich in lead. I'll mine all of it, by George. I'll be the king of lead.
What did you say, Thurston?
What? I said, let's spring ahead.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're anxious to pitch in, Mr. Howell. You can take a working party to look for wood on that side of the island.
Oh, drat. I can't mine lead while others are with me. I can't tell anyone we're looking for wood underground. No one is that stupid. On the other hand... Working party, halt! This looks like a good place to dig.
Gosh, Mr. Howell, why dig for wood with all these trees around?
What? Cut down a tree? I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. Woodman, spare that tree, touch not a single bough. Roam on, the light we sought is shining still. Dost thou ask proof? Our tree yet crowns the hill. Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum, how green are thy leaves. Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum.
I'm glad Mr. Howell is such a nature lover.
That's it, Gilligan. Keep digging. Remember the poor trees.
Sure, Mr. Howell. We wouldn't want to have to use a poor tree for wood.
As long as I keep using the trees as an excuse, they'll dig up the whole island for me.
Gosh, we hit one of those lead rocks again.
Another of those dratted rocks, huh, Gilligan? Well, you know what to do.
Okay, gang, let's do it. Take her away.
All right, let's get it moving. Careful, careful.
Why do we keep moving all the rocks we find to this cave?
We're looking for wood, right, Gilligan? Well, we'll know that we won't have to waste time looking in this cave because it'll only have rocks in it.
Smart thinking, Mr. Howell.
I'll get this cave filled with lead rocks. Then after we return to civilization in the whaleboat, I'll come back and get it. And I won't have to share it with anyone. Anyone, do you hear?
There. Now we should have enough wood to patch the boat once we get these logs cut into planks.
I wonder where the Howells' work party is.
I can't understand why they haven't come back. The island is filled with wood. If I knew Mr. Howell, he's not looking very hard.
Oh, that's very unfair, Ginger. Mr. Howell was very anxious to take a participatory role. Right, Mrs. Howell?
Oh, yes. Thurston just loves rolls. His favorite is the kind with the little black seeds on them.
Poppy seed rolls.
Poppy saw rolls, Professor. Dear me, I'm surprised at your English.
Let's get started cutting planks. The faster we do it, the faster we get off this island.
Just a few more boards and we'll have enough to patch the holes.
The way I figure it, I've got at least 10 tons of that lovely metal in the cave already. Oh, by George, there's nothing like automation. That's a big one, 500 pounds at least. Now, don't drop it, Gilligan.
Don't worry, Mr. Howell, I won't.
Don't let it get away. It's worth a fortune.
Well, that's enough boards. Let's start patching the boat with them.
That's the biggest hailstone I ever saw.
Looks like lead.
Now all the boards we made are ruined.
Oh, dear, Professor, what shall we do?
Analyze the data, Mrs. Howell. We know that is not a hailstone. It is a large lead-like rock which appears to weigh in the neighborhood of 500 pounds. We know that large lead-like rocks which appear to weigh in the neighborhood of 500 pounds do not fall from the sky to crush boards into sawdust. It is an illusion, obviously.
This illusion sure feels like sawdust.
What do you say to that, Professor?
You'll have to admit, it isn't a hailstone.
Well, back to the sawing board.
I'm beginning to wish Mr. Howell knew some poems about rocks.
Keep it going, Professor. I'm really getting anxious to get that boat patched. Boy, back to sea again with the ocean spray hitting my face. Do you have any idea what that means?
Yes, it means that your eyes and your nose and your mouth will be getting wet.
Professor, you sure have a way of getting right down to the nitty-gritty.
Actually, I'm looking forward to a return to the ordinary world myself, Skipper.
You know, it's hard to believe. This time I think we're really going to get off this island.
Oh, I do hope so. I can't wait to get back to the girls at the beach club.
And I can't wait to get back to the boys anywhere.
There we are. Now, that does it. The cave is filled with solid money. I mean, with worthless old rocks. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but we still haven't found any wood.
Perhaps not, Gilligan, but look at it this way. We haven't had to cut down a single one of Mother Nature's darling trees.
Gosh, Mr. Howell, I still don't think you should invite Mother Nature to your next party.
Oh, yes. Well, yes. Well, let's get back to the boat and see how the others are doing. Right, Gilligan?
All right, we have enough boards. Now let's start hammering them into place.
This hammering makes me think about my apartment back home. I redecorated it right before we left on the boat trip. Oh, this hammering makes me think about my boyfriend, the construction worker, back home.
This hammering makes me think of my favorite jewelry store.
Why, Mrs. Howell? Does it specialize in hammered gold jewelry?
Oh, dear, no. It's just that everything makes me think of my favorite jewelry store.
Hi, everybody.
Gilligan, where have you been? You were supposed to be out finding wood.
Gosh, Skipper, we didn't have to. The boat grew its own wood.
We patched the boat with the wood we found.
Yeah, but it was easy. You knew you didn't have to waste time looking in the cave.
Gilligan, what are you talking about?
Funny. I understand him.
You would, Mrs. Howell. What's this about a cave?
Mr. Howell had Snubby and me fill up a cave with rocks so nobody would have to waste their time looking for wood there.
Yes. Well, you see, it's,
If I didn't know better, I'd say that probably the rocks were gold.
Oh, bah, who'd waste time stockpiling gold? Not when lead is worth more than gold.
In any event, it's academic.
Oh, dear. Shouldn't we be vaccinated?
Not epidemic, Mrs. Howell, academic. What I mean is, nothing is worth more than getting this boat fixed so we can get off the island.
The professor's right. Let's get to work. Tree sap, Gilligan.
Ready? Hold it in place. I won't hit your finger. Will you hold it in place? I won't hit your finger.
Gilligan, we'd like to get off the island this century.
Snubby keeps thinking I'm gonna miss and hit his finger.
I'll hold the bamboo stalk. Go ahead, Gilligan. Yo! The monkey was right, worrying about you hitting his finger.
No, he wasn't, Skipper. I hit your finger.
There, that does it. Once the sap sets, the boat will be as good as new.
Let's get ready for the launching.
A trim vessel if ever I saw one.
And why shouldn't they be trim? The poor dears worked hard for their land.
That's vassal, Mrs. Howell.
I wonder if she'll need ballast.
What's that, Skipper?
Weight of some sort, Gilligan, to keep the boat steady in the water.
We'll find out soon enough. All right, everybody, get whatever personal possessions you plan to take with you, and we'll get set to sail. And on this momentous occasion, as we prepare to leave this island, I think it only fitting that we ask Gilligan to break the soda pop bottle to launch the ship.
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking,
Gilligan, just break the bottle.
The boat sank.
Like it was filled with lead.
Lead! My rocks! My lovely gray, dull, expensive rocks!
but how?
My lead! My lead! Oh, I'm ruined!
Snubby didn't know it was lead when he got the other animals to help him put the rocks in the boat.
Yeah, he thought he was helping with the ballet.
Ballast, Gilligan.
And the whole thing wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been so selfish and sneaky and made Gilligan and Snubby do all that work by lying to them. And what good is your precious lead now, anyway? We're still stuck on the island.
Gilligan, what are you doing?
I'm just listening to the radio. Maybe we'll hear about another whaleboat getting loose.
And the previous rumors in the financial world have proved to be false. There's no shortage of lead.
See?
But there is a shortage of tropical sand, found only on certain tropical islands.
Tropical sand, did he say?
There, Mr. Howell. There's all the tropical sands you can use.
Yeah, and we didn't have to cut down a single tree.
I guess Howell learned his lesson about using lies to get people to do things for you.
Yeah. Boy, Stubby and I sure moved a lot of lead around. Gosh, imagine if it was worth more than gold.
With all the lead on this island, we'd all be rich.
What would you do if you had all the money in the world, Skipper?
I'd buy me a big yacht with a galley and a shower and a ballroom and everything. And I'd sail it to Hawaii.
Yeah, and?
I'd buy a big plot of ground and build a mansion with my own dock.
Gosh,
And I'd have steak for every meal and ice cream for every dessert.
gee.
And what would you do if you had all the money in the world, Gilligan?
I'd go into a restaurant and buy a pizza.
With all the money in the world, all you'd buy is a pizza?
Yeah, I'm a big tipper.
Good night, little buddy.
Good night, Skipper. See ya.